Tom Curran, Comcast Sportsnet New England, covers the Patriots. Tommy, how are you?
Good. I'm in the middle of 192 days of hell and counting.
If I told you 6 months ago this is where we would be and this would be the verdict, what would you have said?
What are we doing? I mean, really, what are we doing? That's probably what the reaction would have been. What in God's name, how did it ever get to this point where an appeal of a 4-game, quarter of the season suspension for a general awareness of a more probable than not ball deflation scheme resulted in a 4-game suspension and then an appeal, and then the revelation of a destroyed cell phone in the midst of all this that makes everybody gasp. And then, of course, as it always has been throughout this, the next day, another shoe, or in this case more of a slipper, falls with an explanation to kind of couch the initial reaction.
What were you expecting?
In terms of Goodell returning something, I was expecting him to have an extremely difficult time turning on his own discipline handed down. The minions who really tethered him to this investigation beginning January 18th, and Ted Wells and his multi-million-dollar investigation. I knew it was going to be difficult for him to turn his back on all of that, so I anticipated 4 games. What I didn't anticipate was that every time there is a finding in this, the NFL is going to couch it in a way that makes it amenable to them. And a destroyed cell phone, certainly, that looks awful. He broke a cell phone right before he was supposed to meet with Ted Wells. So they were able to very easily seize on that and use that to their advantage in winning that day's public opinion. And that's the interesting thing to me, Dan. They've been able to control the message, whether it's 11 out of 12 balls, 2 pounds under, or whatever. They've been able to control the message, and it's all reactionary from Brady's camp.
Yeah, but this stems from Ray Rice, that they handled that poorly, and they got out in front of this, and they were going to make sure that everybody knew what the angle was and what the narrative was that you were supposed to believe. And the leaking of the information is what I find really troubling. I mean, you're the NFL. Somebody's leaking this and getting ahead of Brady and his team. I mean, this would be the Patriots, the NFL, and Brady's team would be the Colts in the playoffs right now, the way this has been handled PR-wise.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is, you could even say they didn't need to do it, which is what people would say about the Patriots and whether or not they were actually deflated footballs.
Does anybody in Boston believe that the commissioner and that Brady did something wrong? People in the media in Boston, are you allowed to think that way?
Yes, yeah, no, you're good. You're okay to think that. You're okay to say, geez, why were there conversations via text about needles and I'm going to send them back a bleeping rugby ball next time? Yes, there are. But to me, as someone who says, geez, I wouldn't be stunned if at some point Brady said, look, if I get another ball at 16, I'm going to be pissed. Make sure that those things are 12 and a half. Show them the rule. And you know what? If you see, or Bird, who's in there with them, sees them putting air in it, take them in the bathroom, find however many balls they put air in and get them back to 12.5. That's my most reasonable interpretation as to what possibly happened. But when you look at the AFC Championship game and the balls that they measured and the elements that night, you can't conclusively say there's even a body for this murder investigation because it's all explicable by the ridiculous ideal gas law.
Do you think Brady is guilty in any way?
Yeah, I think at some point, as I just pointed out, I think that at some point he might have greenlit his guys to make sure the balls were at a PSI that was prescribed by the NFL. And how they did that, he didn't want to know. He
are
just
those
would
guys,
like that to be the case.
Are those guys still suspended? The equipment guy and the ball guy?
Yeah, one was a game day employee. Jim McNally is a game day employee. John Jastrzemski is still away from the team. We'll see if he stays away from the team or not. Conversations I've had, it's not definite that he is either on ice right now or permanently gone.
Does he get a 4-game suspension?
I mean, this kid, the funny thing about John Jastrzemski is he is probably the best arm in football that doesn't get paid for it because he is like a pitching machine. So they're going to miss him during training camp because all he does is throw. I mean, he is it's funny, you think of him as an equipment manager. He's been a staple around this team for about 20 years. He's 39 years old. He started when he was a teenager. So they'll miss him. So I would think that at some point they'll try and bring that kid back.
How does Jimmy Garoppolo look?
Handsome.
That is the correct answer, but does anybody have any idea how good he is?
He throws an unbelievably good-looking ball. He throws a deep ball better than Brady with better touch.
Of course he throws a good-looking ball. Come on.
Well, no, I mean, honestly, when I say that, I mean, he has incredible, rare touch on downfield passes. That's what I'm getting at. He's got very good arm strength. Whether he knows his ass from his elbow after the ball is snapped or prior to that, we'll have to see. I mean, this is as evolved an offense as you can find in the NFL in terms of pre-snap, post-snap formationing, and after the snap adjustments. Can he do all that, or are they going to have to dumb it down mightily for him to be able to operate in this offense? For people who expect this to be a good trial run for Jimmy Garoppolo to figure out whether or not he can replace Tom Brady, I think they're out of their minds, because when he gets in there, he's still, thrown 27 balls in his NFL career. He doesn't know what's going on.
All right, the important question before I let you go, who is better looking?
You or me?
No, Tom Brady or Jimmy Garoppolo? Right now.
Jimmy's pretty dreamy.
That's what I thought.
No,
you guys got to go with the new guy, the younger guy. That's the correct
dreamy.
answer. Yeah. We'll see how dreamy he is on opening night. Thank you, Tom.
All right, my friend. Bye-bye.
That's Tom Curran, Comcast Sportsnet New England.